Between winemaking and guitar making, there are parallels, of course. One of the things that comes to my mind is how to describe wine and how to describe instruments and how to describe sound. Describing sound is a common thing that I do with my clients, of course. We're trying to establish what kind of an instrument we may be looking for, the kinds of things we like and don't like, the kinds of things that they become described in senses of color and taste and texture, in a way to establish a line of communication. And the same thing happens with wine, the same thing happens with food, the same thing happens with art. There are similarities there in that I think you're always trying to arrive at a common language, a common dialogue, so that you can communicate these ideas and experiences. Wine certainly goes through stages of development that are fascinating. In terms of how the grapes are grown, how they're processed, where they come from, what makes the quality of it the way it is, the various processes through which specialty can be applied to how to make a better wine, or how to make a wine better than it's supposed to be, than it could be. And then therein comes the art and skill of winemaking. In instrument making, there are some parallels too, of course. You know, you're dealing with raw materials. In wine, they talk about terroir, lending the kind of taste and complexity and the layers that the wine contains. It comes from that. In instruments, you can draw a parallel to the kinds of materials, where they came from, what character they possess in terms of what they can yield, what kind of potential they have to give. A skilled instrument maker knows his materials. That's somebody who is always trying to continually to get in touch with the materials. That's what I try to do all the time. I'm trying to always understand what my materials can do for me, how I can take them to the next step, how I can read them better, and then how you can start blending. Here again, there's a similarity in a way to wine. You begin to you can just go after one grape and say, that's the flavor. But the artist who is acquainted with such things can take other grapes and begin to make it more interesting and blend them and the art of blending comes into it as well. In instrument making, you have some similarity there in that you're constantly blending materials together. It's a marriage of materials that you're bringing together from all sorts of directions that come into one single concept, one single article that has to have a certain kind of performance. So yeah, you need to understand those kinds of values, know what they have to offer, and what to do with them.
It's a snappy guitar, man.